what this is about is, yeah, actually here it is right here. Very one-eyed. Okay, Nimrod and Osiris. Okay, so remember, I'm establishing here as we're looking and lensing into the deepest part of the rabbit hole, which is the netherworld. Just confirming, because there's a lot of Osiris worshipers, whether they know it or not, that Nimrod is Osiris. So finally, when you get all of this together, for those that are still worshiping and bowing down, you'll realize that you're actually the demise of your family, your children, your race, your DNA, and everything else. So if you don't stand up, then it's not going to fare well for you. It continues in immortality. So what this is saying is in the time before the unspoken mistake, when Og's land heralded Nimrod's accomplishments, Nimrod was called the great hunter and a killer of the large giants and things. Now remember, Nimrod is Orion.
This is some serious
shit. The dog at the feet of Orion is serious. While on the field of battle, Nimrod did sustain a loin injury when he engaged the one-eyed Rephaim named Og in warfare. That very same one-eyed Og who fought alongside Og in the 100,000 giant war. When Nimrod wounded Og's neck with the driver and the chaser, Og unconscious body fell to the ground with his outstretched hand still grasping his sword. The sword's blade sliced upward at Nimrod's loins, cutting open his foreskin. And the skin of Nimrod's wounded member hung as a testimony to all. So some never knew what is the origin of circumcision. All priests of Nimrod are circumcised. They are like eunuchs before the Lord. Okay? Why? Because Nimrod lost his, just like in the battle with Osiris and Set. He lost his member, but then when he came back into the court, look, this is just letting you understand the behavior. When coming back into the court of the Nephilim, forced all of the Nephilim, as it reads in the book of Og, to all be circumcised too. So basically, because he had lost his pride, he levied that immediately on everybody that was in the kingdom, so that anybody who still had their complete member wouldn't feel like they were higher than Nimrod, who was then known after that as the half-membered, which also seems to correlate to the loss of androgyny. Okay, so they call them half-member gods throughout this point, or actually half-loined. But again, some may not understand, well, why is the circumcision thing so big? Why is it? Because it's the right of Osiris. Osiris lost his thing, so symbolically everybody else in that camp must lose their thing. Does that make sense? Okay, so again, just understanding the attitude, the behavior. And that's why when you see a rapier or rapper, they got this same kind of swagger. They got that same kind of attitude. Now, I'm not talking about, again, those who are mixing together them beats properly and bringing in them lyrics properly like a true phonetic Phoenician should in order to unwork the spells of this dancing goat. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the ones who are doing death and destruction by spewing out poison in the land like venom, right? So they're like eunuchs before their lord. They're castrated. That's why there's all of that going on in that space. It's because the one that is their leader doesn't want anyone to feel like that somehow they're the more masculine one because they have their member intact. So as we go on here, some of this stuff's like, okay. So as we understand then what we're talking about is we're talking about a covenant. Okay? And this is what I was mentioning earlier, because it's like, man, can't we all just get along? Like, why, when is this going to just chill out for a little bit? Because, I mean, can't we get more wiser? Why is this stuff still happening in the world? And it's still happening because there are many who are bound to it. They've done these rituals. And that's why I was saying, even in these churches and stuff, they're doing these rituals on people. And people don't understand this stuff affects you. It's like in your sleep. You know what I mean? Rituals are being done. You know, you're praying on things. You're putting your right hand over your heart. You know, you're swearing at 51 or 50 pentagrams. And, you know, it's like, you know, what is going on? And somebody said, yeah, the Christianity is a recycling program. Exactly, because it's under the Star of David. And the symbol of David is a symbol of recycling.